In this tutorial, we will look at a couple of procedures using Nero Wave Editor 12. This is a relatively unsophisticated program, which is nevertheless quite powerful and effective. It is also fairly simple to use. The first procedure is recording an audio file from a radio, tape, or LP player, or a microphone. We need a lead to connect the audio source to the computer. As can be seen on this diagram, we connect the output jack of the audio source, which is often marked in green and may also have a headphones symbol, with the input jack on the computer, labelled pink or red and marked with a microphone symbol. We will use a 3.5mm TRS lead, which utilises the most common connectoids. Some output devices provide only RCA jacks, so a hybrid lead may be needed. Headsets sometimes use a USB connectoid, so this will have to be recognised when checking device settings on the computer. When the devices are connected together, open the Wave Editor. Then go to the command line and select Options, Device Settings. If a USB headset is being used, it will have its own sound card, so this will need to be recognized as the input device. Otherwise, there will only be the onboard sound card of the computer in use. If using Windows 7, check the volume mixer from the little speaker icon in the system tray, bottom right-hand corner of the computer. Volume needs to be at 100%. The fact that Nero has been opened, the Applications in Use window will show it. If using XP, the volume mixer will appear a little different. We should now be ready to record. Click the red Record button and a drop-down box will appear. The sample rate will probably show at 44,100 Hz, which is CD quality, and should be left unless a particular reason exists to change it. Bit depth is also left at 16-bit. Tick Stereo Recording and click OK. Now do a trial run of the audio output device, the player or microphone, to check that the input is registering. Optimum volume is when mostly the indicator bands show yellow, with only an occasional peak showing red. If the sound level is off the scale, adjust the volume level. If the recording volume is satisfactory, click on the red recording button. Don't click OK until the recording is finished. Then when the OK button is clicked, the WAV file is displayed. Then go to File, Save or Save As. The file can be saved in WAV, MP3 or WMA format. If editing the file is likely to be required, save in WAV format. Play the file, and if sections are to be removed or deleted, select with the cursor by a click and drag, and then go to Edit and Cut or Delete to remove the section and shorten the file, or go to Volume, Mute if the file is not to be shortened. The next procedure we will look at is noise reduction. Often we will have a file where there are intruding noises. Sometimes these can be removed. Where the noises are largely outside the frequency range of the desired elements in the file, this is most successful. It is less successful where the frequency of the noises are close and overlay the desirable elements. By way of example, I have loaded a file of bird calls, overlaid with the sound of waterfall. This is what it sounds like. We can remove most of this noise because it is largely outside the frequency range of the bird calls. We need to find a part of the file where only the noise occurs, and we sample that. Select it with the cursor and then go to Enhancement and Noise Analysis. The computer saves the sample and a notification is shown. Click OK and then we select the entire file. We go then to Enhancement again and select Noise Reduction. We can use the slide bar to select the percentage reduction. A little green Preview button allows us to hear how much of the sound has been removed or reduced. If we have selected 100% reduction and the sound is still too obvious, we may have to repeat the process. So we click OK and select a new sample. This is a fairly coarse tool, and there is sometimes a limit on how much of the noise can be removed without seriously affecting the desired part of the file. Listen now to the file after noise reduction has been applied 3 times. By default, the program displays the sound profile as a noise print. Similar results can be obtained by selecting the option Editable Noise Curve. But it takes a fair bit of experimentation, adjusting the curve and listening to the results with the Preview button to get a satisfactory result. The next thing that might be useful is enhancing the volume of those parts of the file which are a bit too quiet. This can happen in a recorded commentary, where we might sometimes tend to fade out a bit at the end of a sentence or a paragraph. It can also often happen in a music track, where it is being mixed with commentary for a movie. It is simpler if the big variations in volume of a music track are reduced before the track is loaded into the video compiler. Then we can adjust relative volumes of the music and commentary with the audio mixer of the compiler. I have loaded a music track which has a quiet section at the beginning of the track, which I want to enhance a little. I select that part of the track first by click and drag. Then I go to Volume, Volume Change. The slide bar allows us to change the volume, and the little green button allows us to preview the change before deciding to adopt it with a click OK. Be sure to save the changed file with a new file name, so you still have the original file untouched. Another useful procedure is to change the length or pitch of a file. Only small changes should be made here to avoid distortion. To change the pitch, go to Tools, Transpose. This is what the file sounds like to start with. Now we will transpose it downwards 4 semitones. We will leave the file length unchanged. This is what it sounds like now. We can also transpose it upwards 4 semitones, and this is what it will sound like. Time correction is a bit more tricky. It can be done here, but if you are using a movie compiler like Adobe Premiere Elements, you can make small time corrections to audio files there, so they are better matched to the timing of scene changes. This ends the tutorial.